All right, we got 2 minutes so for everyone who's showing up, thanks for being here. We'll get kicked off right at 9 a.m. And don't forget too, when we go hybrid, we always kick off on time, even though we're in New Mexico.
Hey, good morning to our YouTube audience.
Morning,
Hi,
morning,
everybody.
YouTube. And we are going, and just a reminder, everyone, we're going live or hybrid July 14th.
How's the search for someone to live stream it from Fat Pipe going, Lisa?
It's not. We need
Not yet,
someone.
anyway.
Guessing it was pretty rare to have Austin and the Jack Media team at that time with like roving cameras and mics and all that stuff.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
we were
that was
so lucky. So lucky to have them. And you go back and look at those videos and they were so beautiful.
I turned on recording.
Okay.
Everything you say will be recorded.
Is there any consideration of like, I don't know, chipping in some cash for some people to do that? I mean, I don't know if we could even chip in enough because I imagine most people would charge like couple $100 to do that every morning.
We have a student at Indivisible who's doing it for $50 a pop.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I have to interrupt you all because it's 9 a.m. But we'll talk about it more later, Jason. Thank you. But welcome everyone to 1 Million Cups. It's a national organization, but this is 1 Million Cups ABQ Albuquerque, the best 1 million. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that with our visitor today.
I won't tell anyone. It's good.
Okay. Our mission for 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education and resources and connections for new and aspiring entrepreneurs. And we work towards this mission by creating consistent programs. So we coach our presenters. We don't just let anyone present, right? So our presenter today is going to be awesome. And right, we don't want people to sell you their product because that's not what we're here for. We're here to support them. And let's see. This is our regional 1 Million Cups. And as you see, we're all alone there in the state of New Mexico. But that's okay. We do an awesome job. And if anyone has a business and they've presented here at Albuquerque, they should apply to Orlando and check them out because they also coach their presenters, which is awesome. And our presenter today is from Orlando. And you might want to check out these other regional or these other city organizations and apply to them as well in case you're interested in sharing your business. All right, and our key pillars for 1 Million Cups is it's a presentation, not a pitch, meaning, we hear a story and we hear their challenges. So that way we can support their challenges and maybe help them figure out how to fix those challenges. And then also maybe ask some questions to help them think about their business in a new way. We also love authentic connections. So when we're in person, you don't really see anyone just handing their business card to everybody. It's conversations over a cup of coffee and connecting to support each other. And it's run for the community by the community. And we want to be radically and intentionally inclusive. So we do our best to get all types of businesses and all types of entrepreneurs. And if you have a business and you haven't presented at Albuquerque, go and search up 1 Million Cups Albuquerque, go and apply, and we'll assign you a coach. We'll work with you on your 6-minute presentation, and then you get at least a 20-minute Q&A. And then afterwards, we break up into rooms where you can talk more with our community. And these are our awesome organizers. So we have Paul Zotter, Lisa Atkins, my co-lead, Eric Rins-Whitmore, myself, Sonia Doing, and Charles Garrison. And if you are interested in being an organizer, just let us know, message one of us or message everybody. Let us know if you're interested in being an organizer. It takes a couple hours a week because you're coaching, you're searching, you're recruiting people to apply. And then you have Wednesday mornings with us. And we're also looking, as you might have heard Jason mention, we're looking for a videographer or someone to help us out when we go hybrid. So we're going to have an organizer here on Zoom talking with anyone online. And we're going to have an organizer at FatPipe ABQ recording the speaker if the speaker is live, or the speaker might be on Zoom as well. So that's how we're going to cover our audience as wide as possible. And our awesome sponsors who we hope to see on when we go live July 14th, FatPipe ABQ, which is a co-working space, and that's where Lisa is this morning. And if you need a quiet space to get away from the dogs, the dishes, and the TV, it's a great place to go and rent a space for a day, a week, a month, a year. I've been there for like 5 years, I think. And I love it. There's also Lowe's and Loza Intellectual Property. They buy our coffee, thank goodness, because I need coffee in the morning. And we have More Than Organized, who brings our creamer. And we have Jason Collin Photography, our official photographer. And we have Noventum Custom Software, who brings the donuts. So I'm looking forward to that in July. All right, Paul, I believe you're up next.
Thank you. So it's a pleasure to have Josh Zeppis here today to talk about personal brand clarity. And as Sonia mentioned, he's also an organizer out there in Orlando. So if you want to talk more about possibly presenting in Orlando, drop in his breakout room and see what's up. Josh, tell us about personal brand clarity.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. Good morning, champions. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Can everyone see the screen? I'll make sure it's showing up.
Yes.
Yes.
Looks
Okay.
good.
Awesome. All right. Good morning. Hey, everyone, take a deep breath. Look at the scene. Clarity is my favorite C word. All right. Now buckle your seatbelts. Here we go. Look, we've all been there, haven't we? Our ideal prospect walks up to us at a networking event, introduces themselves, and asks us the most important business question we're ever going to get asked. So tell me, what do you do? And then we freeze. We stumble, we fumble, our blood pressure starts to go up. If we get anything out, it's that borrowed title that's on our business card, or perhaps we hit them with a comprehensive detailed list of all the industry jargon that we do. And then our ideal prospect looks at us, smiles and nods very politely, and excuses themselves to the bathroom. Look, I've sent a lot of people to the bathroom. I know from experience. And here's what's strange. We know we're going to get this question. We know we're going to have to answer it. And yet so often we end up burning another business first impression. And look, I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad, just a sense of urgency, because sometimes we don't get that second chance. So good morning, folks. I'm Josh Zeppis. I am the identity archaeologist. And usually people are like, what the heck does that mean? Honestly, it means I basically don't have any competition, at least as most people define it. And it's not just a fancy title or moniker I came up with. It actually speaks to how I take my genius and I apply it to my product and service. And I'm on a mission. Look, honestly, it's a dagger to my soul each time I see an amazing solopreneur with a heart and a business of gold, unable to get the time of day from their ideal prospect because they lack the skill, they lack the message, they lack the confidence to bring their humanity to the forefront and sit down and attract that person into a conversation. So I would like to share with you real quickly some of the reasons why I believe that we as solopreneurs struggle. And then we're going to talk about what we could do about it. So first, we don't differentiate. It's not that we can't, we just seem to have this weird aversion to it, almost like we're afraid to stand out. Maybe from growing up, every inch of originality was beaten out of us, or maybe we just found it easier to just borrow someone else's brand. But many of us are business shy. Second, we don't know what we do. Well, okay, we kind of know in our minds, but we have a very hard time articulating it in an effective way. And then finally, doesn't it sometimes feel like you're trying to sell a box of Cheerios, trying to convince people to buy from you and not from that other person in your industry down the street? Yeah, it's a tough way to go. It's really tough to compete on that. So look, you might be a solopreneur, but it's very crowded out there. And we just can't simply shout louder over the noise of a crowded industry and expect to be noticed. So especially if we're shouting the same message as everyone else, we have to be saying something different, feeling something different, being something different. So what can we do about it? Well, let me suggest 3 key steps that we can take to start rising above this noise and stop shouting so much and really just start shining. And then I think you're going to have a better idea of how I'm looking to change the world. Step one, we can discover our brand. Remember, a brand is that gut feeling that someone gets the moment you walk into a room. It's what you say, it's what you don't say. And the good news is you don't have to create it. You just have to let it out. Our clients, your clients, are thirsty for authenticity, which means they want to know why you care before they care about anything you know. And it starts with you. So it's one thing to get your 500 business cards, your logo, your website, all that stuff is great. But it's another thing to have clarity as to why you get out of bed every morning and have that confidence to share it. And all it does, it just takes a little digging. Second, articulate the emotion. We need to take a break on what I used to do, which is this verbal vomiting of how great we are, how great our product and services are. So I want you to imagine transmitting how you feel about what you do to others. What's the best way to do that? Well, telepathy, honestly, is the best way, but barring telepathy, we have to get that across through words, imagery, energy. So your pitch, your website, social media, all that stuff has to have your authenticity and the right dose of emotion. So for example, when someone says, tell me about yourself, what they're really saying is, please connect with me. So instead of the unemotional, I am Josh, I am this, I am looking for this, right? I call it a case of the yams, right? I am. What if we just share what excites us that day or what drives us? I know it sounds crazy to be so open and vulnerable in business, but what if vulnerability were actually a superpower, not a weakness? And then finally, create a signature service. So we have to stop commoditizing our product and services, even if it's a commodity. So imagine taking your product and service, it's a beautiful looking file box there, adding your uniqueness to it, and then creating something unduplicatable. Because here's the hard truth. Your product, your service is probably duplicatable. Someone come along, do it better, faster, cheaper, but you aren't. Your story, your mission, your values, your stand, everything, every reason why you exist cannot be duplicated. So bring that to the forefront. So if you think I'm suggesting just getting paid for being you, well, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm suggesting. What's the journey like? Brand manifesto, discover, clarity for the solopreneur, then creating that compelling first impression, being able to articulate it, and then finally create a signature service, something that's so unique, you could charge a premium. My number one goal though, I want to make every conversation better, more productive, more profitable, and get these dear solopreneurs out of the grind of sales and into the flow of connection. Thank you, everyone. It's always a pleasure to share with 1 Million Cups. And I just want to ask real quick, does what I do kind of make sense? Did it drive any amount of curiosity whatsoever? And who else needs to hear this message? I love sharing. Who else needs to hear this that I can go and share with? So thank you so much. Appreciate everyone.
Thank you. And we'll open it up for questions. And I'd like to remind people when you ask a question, introduce yourself and say what business or organization you're with. Let's start off with Miriam.
Good morning, Josh.
Good morning.
I actually do a bunch of stuff like around what you do. I teach signature system and how to charge and things like that, but I don't do as much on the branding end. But I'm also wondering, who's your ideal client?
My ideal client, that's an excellent question. I typically work with, I'm focusing on talented solopreneurs. So the ones that have more of the higher ticket offerings that also are in very crowded industries and they're just having trouble getting that traction. They're kind of sitting in, I call it the sea of sameness. They're just, they're like, no one seems to notice me. I try and set up one-on-ones, but people ghost me. They're not showing up. So basically they're not having luck with making that first impression. Because you know the old saying, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. Well, I have a corollary to that, which says a lot of people don't get a first chance to make that second impression, which is where the real connection happens when you're doing that one-on-one. So it's those solopreneurs. They could be coaches, consultants, agents in the financial industry. They could be realtors. So all those folks where basically it's up to them to make those connections and bring in the clients.
Cool.
Sonia, you're next.
Okay, one of your questions, one of your asks was, What was your first question you had in your ask?
Does what I do make sense? And then does it drive curiosity? Those were the first two
Okay.
questions.
I would say it definitely drives curiosity because I'm like, whoa, that sounds awesome. So yeah, great presentation. So
Thank
my
you.
question would be, so if someone wanted to work with you, how does this like, what does that look like?
Great question. Right now, I do concierge service, so it's one-on-one. I am the person that will sit together for 4 to 6 weeks. I dig, I interview, we ideate together, and I create all the brand assets. So first step is that brand manifesto, which is your foundational document. It's your constitution. It pretty much gives you that clarity you need to be confident and convicted in what you're doing. So it's a one-on-one, it's a direct coaching and creation. And so this isn't a do-it-yourself kind of thing, not yet. And it's not a do it with you kind of thing. It's a do it for you. So that's what's working right now at every stage. There's 3 stages to what I do, but the first stage is just like that.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Marlene.
Hi, I think this
Hi.
is a very interesting concept. So my question is, how is it different than like a life coach or something similar to that? I don't totally understand the differentiation. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, a good point. There is a lot of overlap. So I do bring a lot of my coaching. I do goal crushing and mindset, mental toughness coaching as well. So I bring that to the forefront. I don't compartmentalize it. But this is, everything I do is deliverable based. This isn't some ongoing thing where I'm just kind of asking good questions and making you think, and then, you know, hopefully life gets better. This is, when I say we're going to create a brand manifesto, if it takes us 4 weeks or 10 weeks, we're going to hit the mark. It's going to feel right, be right, sound right. And there's a set of deliverables that we're going to hit every time. So it's really more results focused and based, as opposed to just kind of an ongoing coaching relationship in that sense.
I think you should say that to people and
Oh,
or somehow communicate that, how different you are than that kind of thing.
absolutely, 100%. Just in the time frame of this, I wanted to spend most of my time providing value and then just talking about my service. But yes, thank you. You're 100% right.
Okay, Debbie.
I was just curious if you also help, you know, with networking online, since a lot of networking is not really happening yet in physical environments.
Yeah. So you mean as far as like helping people do the networking, how to network?
The brand and all. So how do you convey your brand that you're helping them build in an online environment?
Yes, that's a really, really good point. So your brand, even in an online environment, in my opinion, becomes even more important because there's only so much interaction you can do, right? You're missing a few pieces of interaction. So your message has to be so crystal clear. It's got to be so compelling. It has to be so authentic that it's going to drive someone to do that one-on-one with you. So I think it becomes even more important to have that clarity for yourself and be able to articulate that clarity in a way that makes people want to learn more. So absolutely, it's one of in fact, that's kind of a mission I'm on right now, is I'm trying to help people answer the question, what do you do? It's a kind of a public service I'm doing. It's free. There's no sales whammy attached to it. It's just, I want people in networking situations, online especially, to be able to answer that question effectively. So I'm just kind of giving that away as, like I said, public service, just a personal mission of mine.
Okay, Michael.
Yes, Josh, this is really interesting. I'm intrigued, but I'm not also clear. Do you have any examples of like before and after of what you're talking about?
Yeah. Oh, there's several. Okay, so there's a client I just finished working with, we're just finishing up, and he does IO psychology is technically what it's called, but he helps technical leaders in the corporate America actually learn how to manage. He teaches them. So basically they got all this IQ, but they're missing the EQ component. And he's got that education. He loves doing it, but he was having a hard time getting clients. He was having a hard time getting that conversation because guess what? Him being technical, he just wanted to share all the information. Here's, all the technical side. And I said, okay, he heard me talk actually at 1 Million Cups. We sat down, we created his brand. Remember, brand is about emotion and feeling. Brand is that authenticity. It's the other side of the informative. It's not informative, it's emotive, but it's emotive in an informative way. So we created that. We just finished his signature talk. We created a 20-minute, in fact, it'll blow away any TED talk. If he just gets up there and does that, it's incredible. So he's going to position himself as the expert. And during our we've spent about 9 weeks together. During that time, I've coached him a little bit on the sales process. He's brought in more clients during our time together than he has in the previous year in just those 9 weeks. Because, and here's the thing, it's not something, I'm not giving him some special words. His confidence level is through the roof because he's so clear on what he does. In fact, he told me even last Thursday, he had a meeting with somebody. First time he met this person, he talked with this person. This person then wrote an email to all their contacts and shared it with my client. And the way this person described what my client does was perfect to the T. And my client's like, I can't believe he was able to figure out exactly what I do. I'm like, you understand, like you have so much clarity, you're able to transfer that to him. And now because he was so clear, he was comfortable sharing it with his network. And it's just things like that it just brings business to a whole new level and it makes it more profitable. So I don't want people to go out there and do more work necessarily. You don't need to talk to more people. You need to make those conversations better and make them more productive. That's really my approach.
That's an interesting metric to think that you could present what you're doing to somebody else and that they could explain it in a way that you would recognize.
Yeah, that was so cool for him to see. I was very happy that he saw that or he had that experience. Yeah.
Okay, Alan.
You know, I find this rather fascinating. There's a kind of a disconnect. It's a very subtle disconnect. A couple of the questions that were asked essentially we're not clear on what you do. And that seems a little bit of a discordant note for somebody whose mission is to bring clarity for others. And I kind of hit on what I perceive as the disconnect. Your formal presentation leans toward the glib. When you're off script, I'm hearing much more authenticity, and I guess for someone who wants to carry the torch of clarity, I guess my suggestion is you might want to go back to your presentation and allow more of your authentic self to come through. Get rid of some of the glibness, which I think would result in more clarity for you. Because part of the problem is, I mean, I found it interesting, but it really wasn't clear to me exactly what you did. And the people who don't get it are not going to ask you more questions. They're just going to go away. So, you know, it's kind of a physician heal thyself. I hope you're not offended by this, but
not at all.
But
this is great.
but that because I think you have something important to say, but I think you got carried away with your intellect in your presentation, if that makes any sense. So
absolutely.
Anyway, that's my thought for you.
Thank you, Alan. I appreciate the feedback 100%. And for me, honestly, and I'll just be open, 6 minutes to get this across is a challenge. And I'm human. I'll just put it out there. I'm not perfect. I screw things up. I can always get better. And that's why I do these presentations. It's funny, I was on a networking call yesterday and someone asked, what's your favorite quote? And it was, what you learn after you think you know it all makes all the difference in the world. And I always remember that. And I appreciate feedback like yours. You're right. I do need to make this better, constantly make this better. And I do know that I'm much better in person and off the cuff. And that's what I teach. So yeah, I will just receive your feedback, and I do appreciate that. And I'm always going to continue to work on that and bring the clarity.
Just as a follow-up, when I was acting, one of the things that's most difficult for people is being an objective critic of your own work. It's very hard to do. I mean, some people can't even watch themselves, or you hear people say, oh, well, I can't listen to myself. Well, you have to. And you have to step aside and be willing to look at it critically so that you can improve. Because unfortunately, most of the world will just say to you, that's great, Josh, that's wonderful, I really like that. That's not helpful.
Correct.
I mean, constructive criticism, if it's meant constructively, sometimes it's hard to listen to, but that's the most important thing that you'll have to hear. So
absolutely. And it's interesting you bring that up, because there's a lot of programs out there that are DIY, kind of do it yourself, fill out this worksheet, come up with your own brand promise, story, mission, vision, purpose, unique value proposition, all this kind of stuff. And I see so many people struggle with that. And that's the reason I decided to start with the more one-on-one coaching. So this way, I'm a third party. I can pull that stuff out, the things that they can't see, because sometimes we're just too close to it. We're just too close to ourselves, can't see the forest through the trees. And it helps to have that third party perspective. So someone like you give me feedback, everyone so far that's given me feedback has been great, because it's that mirror I need. And that's why I do that's why my process is the exact same for my clients. Like, I got this. Let me just ask the questions. Let me pull it out. Let me go create these assets. And then you're going to know if it's right. It's going to feel right when we hit the end. Right. So, but thank you.
you're quite welcome.
Okay, Debbie has a follow-up. Okay, then Sonia.
Okay. So I want to bring in the opposite of what Alan said. Basically, as a solopreneur, I got everything in your presentation. Like, it totally drew me into what you're doing, because I see it. I see, like I'm a writer, right? And what makes me different than other writers and I used to be a tech writer, right? So I had to differentiate myself from other tech writers. So what you're saying, I totally worked for me. So I feel like you being, you know, I don't know, I thought your presentation touched on your personality as well. So I'm the total opposite of Alan. I think it worked for me as a solopreneur. My question for you though is, like, do you have any challenges that you're facing right now?
Yes, always. So thank you for the feedback. And I will say my personality is probably an acquired taste. So I do understand if it doesn't hit with everyone. Yeah, there's always, of course, I'm going through challenges. Right now, what I'm working on is more of a group program. I need to leverage. That's my challenge. I've only got so many hours in my day. As my clientele increases, I'm not going to have time to help everyone. So I'm creating kind of a 12-week mastermind kind of program where it's not done by yourself, but it's done with you. And so it's a course with my support. So I'm looking at ways to leverage. That's one. Two, I also really believe in organic, let me call it personal marketing. I believe in personal outreach. So whether it be getting on podcasts or presenting, networking, all those things, as opposed to paid ads, as opposed to some of the more impersonal side. And I think most solopreneurs can start off that way. And I call it this, the concept I call it is skip marketing, where you could just go from your messaging, because it's so compelling, right into your sales conversation. You don't have to go and spend thousands of dollars to amplify your message yet. You know, in time that has to happen. So yeah, leveraging, and then just initial visibility is, and I think that's probably the challenges a lot of folks have. But what I have that I'm happy about is even if it didn't come across perfectly in the presentation, I do have really good clarity on exactly my message and how I'm going to get it out there, whether it be writing a book that I'm working on called The Lighthouse Effect, or speaking and sharing and just trying to add value.
All right, Kenneth.
Thank you. I have a mentor of mine who have you just so much respect for, but his favorite saying is, "I am who I say I am." It's just where in the path of who I am is what my brand is. What do you think of that?
Interesting. Well, on one sense, I definitely agree. Personal brand is you. And I think a lot of folks try and tie their brand to their audience. And I think that's the wrong approach. You've got to stand for something. That's what people are looking for. People want to know, what do you stand for? Because so many people are flopping around and blowing in the wind. Like, you've got to stand for something, even if it's not what that person stands for too. They're just going to appreciate that you do stand for something, that you're on a mission. You're going somewhere. People want to follow people going places. They don't want to just follow someone who's wishy-washy and not clear. So that's one. So personal brand, absolutely. It's got to start with you. So I don't have to answer your question, but that's.
All right, and we have two last questions for you. One of them is New Mexico's state question.
Oh.
So red or green?
Oh, wow. Am I going to say the wrong answer? Red or green?
So have you ever had red or green chili?
Oh, yes. I would say I'm a green chili person. I hope that's okay.
Oh, that's
I don't want
fine.
to start a riot here.
No. If you're ever in Albuquerque, that's what we'll get you. And the
Okay.
second question is, what can this community do for you?
Yes, great question. If I could just pull up the presentation one more time. I would like help helping others. So let me see if I can change this. So this is that message. This is the mission I was talking about before. It's completely free public service. If there's any solopreneur out there that you know that does have a hard time answering the question, what do you do effectively, that they're leading with their name or their title or all this stuff that tends to turn people off, and they want to create their unique version, I'm doing these as just quick 30-minute one-on-one sessions. Again, no sales thing, but they walk away with their business asset that they can go use and make their own and go have just better success in their conversation. So there's the link. Please share that out. That's really the mission I'm on right now, to help people.
Thank you very much, Josh. And I should tell people you'll be around in a breakout room so people can keep kicking it around with you. And I'm going to hand it back to Sonia.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Well, one thing I'd like to do is, if there's anyone new here who would like to introduce themselves, feel free to unmute yourself and introduce yourself to to this group. I think I did see one new person in here. Sarita?
Rita new? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she may not. Oh, there we go.
Hi, my name is Sarita Prasad, and I got invited by Phil and Paul, and I have a new startup business. The name of my business is IMS Pro, and it stands for Innovative Microwave System Prototypes. So I specialize in designing and building high-power microwave systems.
Dang.
Well, I just submitted an NSF proposal for a unique application of this technology, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. Good luck on the application.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to 1 Million Cups.
Thank you very much.
All right. Who else? Let's see.
Clifton's raising his hand.
Clifton, go for it.
I think everybody that's usually here knows me.
Oop.
content. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Ah, the magic.
Huh.
So I do creative sales content, bilingual, cross-platform and whatnot. And the only reason I wanted to introduce myself today was to tell Josh that, back in the day when people used to say, so what do you do? I'd say, well, I ride bikes, I kayak, I like to read a lot, and then get a chuckle, and then you get to have a little bit of a deeper dive into the business discussions.
Nice. Thank you, Clifton. All right. Andrew, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, sure. My name's Andrew Cordova Andrews. I usually go by ACA. I'm basically a business doctor who solves business problems. My firm is seeking to become a B Corp to help incubate other B Corps.
Nice. Very cool. Have you heard of the Santa Fe group that's working with B Corps?
I have not. I would love to hear more. We're kind of at this place where we want to become a B Corp when our revenue hits a certain milestone. So we're not quite there yet. So we're beginning to explore that foundation. Right now, we basically help food trucks and home service businesses find more customers, and that's kind of the area we're focusing in right now. But we also help with operational consulting and productivity, stuff like that.
Nice. Well, if you want to put your email in the chat, I will send you, I can't remember the name of it, that organization's name.
Okay.
And awesome. And so does anybody have any big wins this in the last week or so?
Sonia, I guess one win could count as this month is my 12th anniversary in business as a full-time professional photographer.
Yay! Congratulations, Jason.
Thanks, Sonia.
I love seeing your updates and your photos. Yeah.
Thank you. If you do check out the blog or the newsletter, I did detail the kind of up and down story, and even in more detail maybe than my presentation a year and a half ago like that. So if you want to see where highs and lows of photographer are.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Jason. All right. Anybody else have a win they'd like to share?
I've got one, Sonia.
Go for it.
I don't know if it's exactly a win, but it's kind of a win. So in my overall quest to have a greater impact as well, I've often thought I should have my own TV show. And so I didn't really do anything about that. And I ran across someone at another networking thing that is one of those producers that'll shop a show around. So I just signed up to do 24 episodes of a TV show. So I will need you all.
Oh, that's not a big win at all. That's just a baby win.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 48 would be a big win. 24 is kind of,
yeah.
Right. No, but, well, it's internet TV, so it's not full on.
That's just
by network or anything yet, but fingers crossed it'll do something. So.
Awesome. Congratulations. So cool. All right. I'm looking for one more win.
I have somebody else's win. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
she's willing to say some more about it. I was just so really enthusiastic to see Senator Martin Heinrich and New Mexico Consortium at an event that Lisa pulled together. I'm not sure where that was, but I just saw the news about that, yesterday? It just looked like, that convening and bringing together startups and folks in policy and government and folks who can support them. So, just kudos to Lisa and her team.
Yeah, thank you. It was great, Vista, and they've been coming back every week and demoing their amazing software. So it's pretty cool that Senator Heinrich actually.
Nice. Very cool. All right. Well, I think that's it for wins. So it's up to Lisa now. It's all in Lisa's hands.
Unless Eric has some events.
Oh
he'd
yeah.
like to share.
Oops. Sorry, Eric.
Oh, no. I showed up late. Let's see. I'm going to throw some stuff here in the chat and I will hit up some things. So first of all, it's Pride Month. And one of the things I wanted to highlight is that Kaufman Foundation is looking, they have kind of a nice storytelling arm over there. So one of the things they want to do is they want to share, they're actually looking for a few different stories. One of it is about Fast Track, and I think I posted that on social media. And that's just sort of general, entrepreneurial stories. But they're particularly interested, given Pride Month, that they want to highlight some stories from LGBTQ entrepreneurs around town. So if you've got some stories, I didn't think they have like an actual form or something, but I'm glad to put you in touch with their media person who's gathering those to put those out. So yeah, you, colleague, whatever, if you've got a story to share, be glad to get those out. There's Taza, which is our bilingual cousin, a nephew, whatever you want to call it. That takes place Thursday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. I haven't talked with them yet about when they go back to live and in person, but that's always a good group. Adam's Friday Flow this Friday is regenerative options. I included the link there. I'm not sure if I fully understood what it was, but it looked really cool. Adam always does a great group of people, great discussion. That's Fridays from 9 to 10 a.m. If you're interested in open government, civic tech, or public arts, or just want to get out of the house, there is an event that takes place this Saturday and next Saturday, which is DataFest Art Quest. And what we're doing, I'm doing this sort of on behalf of Code for Albuquerque, is we have like a mini hackathon and an opportunity for folks to visit public art throughout the Albuquerque area and find ways to make it more, to increase engagement with the wider community. Maybe that's art and crime stats in the neighborhood. Maybe that's which statues are fun for kids. All those kinds of things. If you've got a thought about how we might improve or increase the way that people think about, experience, and engage with public art, we'd love to have you there. It's a free event. Some of it's in person, but there's also an online option for participating in that as well. And the last thing I'll share right this second is that there will be some version of a startup weekend the last weekend in June. Not sure right now if it's going to be a full up weekend or if it's just going to be like a day of workshops, but that's coming together. We don't have the link quite ready to go, but that should probably be up on Friday. So I'm interested, Andrew or ACA, I liked what you were talking about. Paul, I know you offered to help out. So we're looking for sort of workshops and also participants on that as well. But I'll put that out through 1 Million Cups social media channels. And thanks very much.
Yay. Thank you, Eric. And real quick, Josh, can you share your link to your mission sign up in the chat?
I just did. I just put it in there. Thank you.
Yay. Perfect. Okay. Now it's all in Lisa's hands.
So also another event you guys can go to tomorrow if you're so inclined, or in the East Mountains already. We're doing the ribbon cutting for Fat Pipe East Mountains, which is in Edgewood at 215 Cowboy Way. We'd love to have you guys. Eric, are you going to do a community connections room for us today?
Glad to. And I think, if there's that B Corp kind of discussion, that might land there if that makes sense.
Oh,
Great.
That would be perfect. Okay. Thank you, Eric.
So we have a personal brand clarity room with our speaker, Josh, a COVID-19 update room with Paul, and community connections with Eric. If you would like to be pre-assigned, please just let me know. Otherwise, you can select your room as soon as I open them up.